Hey folks, and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be doing some sort of a live OBS/streaming guide with everything that I've learned over the past few years of streaming. So let's not waste any time, let's just jump straight into it. So the first thing you're wanting to do is head over to the internet and download a program called Open Broadcaster Software. And once you've downloaded it and installed it, you'll end up with a program that looks something like this. Now obviously, you want to head over to your preferred platform, YouTube, Twitch. I'm sure there's a whole host of other platforms available. And you can go ahead, sign in, sign up, and make a username. Honestly, your username doesn't matter. First thing you're going to be told is, when you're beginning out your content creation, you want a brand, you want an identity. Of course, that's absolutely beneficial. But what I'm trying to put across is there's a lot of people that think I didn't make it because my username wasn't good, or I didn't make it because my brand. It's all going to come down to you as a person. At the end of the day, it's you. And if you're going to be a good creator, it doesn't matter if your username is, I don't know, Apple Pie 27. Does it? It doesn't matter. If somebody finds you interesting, they will remember you. The first thing you're going to do is go to your settings, prefer a dark theme. That's just optional. All of these settings can be left at default. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get you set up for streaming in the most stress-free way possible to create an enjoyable stream for the viewer and it not be too stressful, because the most important tip I can tell you at the moment is you have to enjoy doing it. If you're coming on here to make a quick buck, or you're coming on here to get famous, or whatever it may be, right? You've got to still enjoy it. That is the most important thing. And if it is super fiddly to set up, if you spend hours and hours and hours tweaking every minute setting, you're just going to get bored of it and not do it. Settings, everything in general can be just left alone. It's fine, don't worry about it. In the stream, you're going to be selecting your service, which is the platform you want to stream to. Now, you can leave the server on auto, this is entirely fine, or you can go ahead and select ones. Just because a server is nearby you doesn't always mean it's the best one. Sometimes they're crowded, sometimes it can be laggy, sometimes if you're having a problem with Twitch itself, most of the time it's down to your internet, but if you're sure everything's fine and everything's good, it could just be the server you're streaming to is congested, the platform itself is having issues, so sometimes a simple restart on a server switch can just check that. Enable Twitch chat add-ons. Now this is for seeing what we would call emotes in the chat on the right hand side. This is when somebody will come in, they'll spam a key phrase and it will change that key phrase into a little emoji. There are third-party plugins and chats available. For simplicity, I would just keep Better Twitch TV on and Frankerface, and you'll be able to see what's going on. Switching to the output page, this is what your viewers are going to be seeing. The most important thing is your audio, is you as a person, and the smoothness of the stream. If I go on and your microphone is terrible, or your in-game audio is terrible, the stream is incredibly choppy, I'm not going to give you a single second of my time. And this is where people get panicky and people spend hours and hours and hours tweaking everything to make sure it's perfect. Let me tell you, most people that are going to be viewing your stream, if you're just beginning, that is a low view count stream, are going to be friends and family. They're going to be a little bit more forgiving in terms of quality and fixing. They may be able to help you get going, and that's a huge thing. If you can have somebody watch maybe your initial stream, or give you some pointers of, hey, that was really loud, or that microphone's really bad, try and get that. It's okay to have somebody be critical, because the most frustrating thing is for you to go ahead and do a 6-hour stream, super positive, really energetic, and then find out that your microphone was switched off. You can do what you can do is you can make a secondary Twitch account. You can stream to that whilst you get everything set up and nice, do a few practice streams, and then switch over to your main account. That's also another good idea. I'm keeping this simple for you. X264, which is your processor. QuickSync can be an option. That's sort of like a secondary encoder which alleviates some stress off the main portion of your CPU. This can be an option for very low-end CPUs, or you can choose NVENC. It offloads all of the work onto the inbuilt encoder onto the graphics card, and it handles it. As long as if their stream comes out smooth and the viewer is having a smooth time, they don't know what encoder you're streaming on. They don't care what encoder you're streaming on. The most amount of viewers I've ever had on Twitch was when I had an old graphics card on a 4-core processor, and it was a dreadful stream. Why? I was having fun, I was enjoying myself, I was involved in the community, and I got a load of viewers. Everybody seems to think that you need a mega top-end processor to produce some sort of stream. That's not the case. So I, for the longest time, grew a channel from 0 subscribers to 11,000, and I played on a 4-core processor, and I used a GTX 970. You don't need super top-end gear to have something that's enjoyable and start to, you know, get some fans. The reason I kept things cheap at the beginning was it's about fun. It's about fun. And if you go out and you go and spend a ton of money on all of the top-end stuff, and you turn your stream on and nobody's there, you're gonna feel bad. We know that more cores is better, less cores is worse, and we know that if you're somewhere with a halfway decent gaming PC, it's a toss-up between the two encoders. Have a go at which you feel is better. It's personal. When you go to somebody's stream, maybe you've visited Twitch before, and you check some high-level streamer, they're going to have a lot of quality options, like a YouTube video. If you're not a partner and you're not getting a lot of views, the only quality option is the option that the streamer/producer pushed out. Well, most people are going to be browsing from their phone, tablet, few people watching on laptops, so you need the viewer to be able to watch it, because that's number one importance, right? In the beginning, I honestly recommend 1280 by 720. You're going to need a lot less bitrate. You're going to need a lot less hardware to do the stream. It's going to be smoother for you, and more people are going to be able to tune in and watch. That's ideal. Bitrate itself, you're going to head over to speed test, run a speed test, and you're going to find out what your upload is. If it comes back and you have super fast internet, you have 20 meg upload, it's super stable, it never drops. For me, you can do a maximum of 6,000. I stream with 4.8 upload, so 4,800. It gives me enough bitrate to make a 900p stream look decent. If I drop it to 1280 and keep this same bitrate, the picture does improve. However, because there is less resolution, it sort of cancels each other out, and I'd rather just have a slightly higher resolution. There's a lot of information to take in there, and it sounds more complicated than it is. The be-all and end-all here is you're trying to get a number less than 6,000, and it's the highest number you can put in that's stable. That's basically it for the most part, to keep things simple. If you've chosen to use the X264 encoder, which is your processor, for a simple term, how much juice does your processor want to use? Ultra fast is like, we just get the image out as best we can, as quick as we can. It's about taking stress off your processor. Very slow is like super intense on encoding, super intense on your processor. Better image quality, but with a huge performance hit. So for most people, fast is going to be the way to go. If you're really struggling and you've chosen X264 and you're stuttering and everything, you can move these up until it feels fine, and it's about finding a balance between your resolution, your bitrate, and your sort of encoder. The video is sort of what you're playing as. So my base canvas is 2560 by 1440 because I'm playing in 1440p, and set the scaled resolution to the resolution that you're going to stream at. The frame rate is important. 30 is a bare minimum for me. If you can't stream at 30 FPS, I would say you probably need to upgrade your hardware, but almost everybody can do that. 60 looks super smooth compared to 30. This again is going to impact frame rate. It's going to impact your processor usage. This is a test. If you can do 60, I highly recommend it. If you're really lagging, try knocking this down to 30 and see if that alleviates the problem. If it does, bump it up to 48. That is a middle ground that looks smooth. So the next thing are hotkeys. You can have an absolute ton of these set up. This is how you can control your stream without bringing up the program. So for example, you're chatting away to somebody comes in that wants a private conversation and you want to mute your microphone. You literally just click in the box. Instead of me reaching for my program and bringing it up and finding the correct source to mute, I just want to stop that audio. I could say, right, if I press the up arrow key, it's going to mute it. Layouts. If you ever mess up your layout, like you've pulled something out of a dock and you don't know how to get it back in, you can just go to View, Docs, and Reset UI. Actually getting ready to stream is actually way more simple than you would think. Actually, one of the more simpler processes. You have scenes, you have sources, and you have your audio. Now, scenes are effectively, call them like books, and when you open up the book, this is what's inside them, if that makes any sense. I'm a visual learner. You can right-click Add New Scene, and then right-click Add. Here, you're selecting the things you want your viewers to see. So, display capture. I want you to see my desktop. Maybe you don't want everyone to see your monitor. You don't want that. You just want people to see the game. You can right-click Add Game Capture, and then from here, select it down the list when you're playing it. Now, to add a webcam, you can go right-click Add Video Capture Device. Call this webcam. Create a new one and select your source. I'm going to add a one here, which I should be. Here we are. I'm back. Welcome back. Click one of these sources and then move them around like this. They snap into place, or you can move me around. And this is your basic stream, right? This is your basic stream. You've got a display capture. You've got a webcam. On the right-hand side here, if you right-click these cogs and you go to properties, you can select what you want, similarly to what we did in the settings. You can turn these up and down. So an example is, if I go to my microphone and I right-click a filter, you can see here I have a noise gate and a compressor. To do that, right-click, add, choose the one you want. And this means if I shout super loud, it compresses it so I don't absolutely blow out, but it's still loud enough. And a noise gate is just when it's closed, when my microphone is closed, and when it is open. So if you've got any irritating hum in the background, maybe a fan, this can be a choice. We've done a video capture. You can also add images. So for example, you could go to image. You can click OK. You can then browse for your image and drop it in. We've got my profile picture here, and we can use this to do some sort of examples with filters. I know I'm duplicated, but it's the way we're going to work. If you go right click filters, you can see here you can apply color correction. So you can change the color, give yourself a bit more gamma, bit more contrast, bit more brightness, less brightness. Change the hue. Maybe your camera's looking a bit pinkish or something, you can change the hue. If I wanted to say, you know what, I want my webcam, it's looking a bit, because I do normally have some filters on it, I can go color correction. I can go, right, I want my gamma to come down, my contrast just to come up ever so slightly, dim my brightness a bit. Right, I want to be way less saturated today. Oh, I want to be way more saturated. So we'll just leave that for now, right? So you can do this to your display capture. If you want your display to be, let's say you're playing your game and you want it to have a bit of sharpen and you want it to have just a little bit of extra saturation just to give your game that pop, you can do that. You can add a LUT. It's like a filter for your camera. You may have these available, you may not. OBS does have built-in LUTs. I have my own pack of LUTs. They are basically, they look like these grid images and they affect the image in certain ways. So this one would isolate reds, sort of like Sin City. So you see here, everything's black and white, but the red here. So you can do some pretty interesting things if you want to go on and do that. Over here on this bar, you can see that there is a transition. You can choose your transition and how it works. I have made my own and saved it. There are guides out there on YouTube for that. And now, once I choose my video file as a transition, you will browse, select your video, and then once you will see, sort of now, if I swap screen, there is that whoosh that goes across. So you can choose transitions like that. You can do it for different scenes, for all scenes. That's an option. You can also get kind of fancy with your camera. So if you wanted to go to your camera and choose filter, and you wanted to add a image mask, small circle that goes over, it's like my camera, and now I have a lovely round camera. You can get as fancy as you want with these shapes and stuff like that. You can add text. Text is exactly as you would expect. You can place it and move it around. You can add slideshows. So if you have some sort of sponsorship, so right click add slideshow, you can then select how much it fades, the image files here by clicking the add button. Sponsor, thanks to this sponsor, or just if maybe you're an artist and you want it to slide through all of your work that you've created, you can do that. Probably the last thing that you want to get going for a stream is your alerts, so people and you as a streamer know what's going on. This is how many subscribers I'd like to get by the end of 2021 on Twitch. We've had 57. I haven't streamed in about a month, so apologies for that, but there's been some issues going on. The point is, these goals are very simple to set up. If you ever want to resize, by the way, you can hold shift to go up and down or left and right. You will go add, right click, add browser source. Now, where do you get this browser source? Because what will pop up is this. You need your URL, which is like your link to your alert. I use Streamlabs, so you can go to Streamlabs, all this up, you've logged in and you've clicked all widgets. You can choose what you want, right? A donation goal, chat, do you want chat to appear on stream, an event list, view count, all of this stuff, right? Let's say I wanted my view count to be on stream. Don't show this to anyone, this is your personal URL. You would copy this URL here, once you've set it all up with the things that you want. You would copy it and then you would paste it into this browser source here, and you would click OK, and then it would become active. I don't think I can do it because I'm currently logged in and recording for you, but there is also an inbuilt option for an event list, or somebody subscribes, it appears in a set list of the most recent actions. That is an option as well. And people do sell their alerts as well. They will just give you a URL. So for example here, it would pop up everything that's been happening. You can make this as cool or as boring as you want. Choose the URL and again, right click add, browser source, and boom, there we go. Basics, you've got your followers on screen, you've got your colors sorted, you've got your webcam, you've got everything sorted, and you're good to go. You're then gonna hit the stream button, maybe on a second account, have a look at it, see how it all works. Is your FPS good enough? Is the visuals good enough? You can chop and change it till your heart's content, but this should give you a basic idea on how to stream and how to set stuff up. There's a ton of like little finicky things you can do. For example, one thing that did bug me for the longest time, and I only realized how you fix this, and I'll show you, is you can add a group. Now this group also can have a filter applied to it, which sounds obvious, but for the longest time I wanted a circle camera here, and I wanted like this. I didn't want my big camera to have the circle. So how do you solve that issue? I'm looking like a James Bond movie. What you can do is make your webcam. What you can do is you can put your webcam inside that group by dragging it inside and applying the filter to the group. And then when you have your camera, your big camera, and you copy and paste it, it will not have the filter of the circle applied to it because the filter is applied to the group. I'm sure there's hundreds of videos out there that explain how to get a stream going. This is for my viewers. I wanted to help them out. So if I did help you out, leave a like, leave a comment. Do consider checking out my stream live at twitch.tv/GGZ, or occasionally I stream here on YouTube. If I've really helped you out, you can visit the links in the description to subscribe with Twitch Prime for free. There is also a join button, so if you want to support the YouTube channel directly, which is fantastic. That is also a great way to support. I think some countries also get a free month of that as well. You also get some badges in my YouTube channel as well that you can spam. I have a community Discord. I have a whole host of things. So if you're interested in that, or you have any other questions, or you want a specific topic covered, then do let me know. This was just a very general guide to streaming. So remember, the most important thing is to have fun. Yes, you can tweak all of the settings till your heart's content, but as long as if it's basically somewhat viewable and your microphone and game volume are pretty decent, you're good to go. You're not going to suddenly blow up and be incredibly famous because your quality is a tiny bit better than someone else's, unless you're going to like the super high-end production levels. But it can make a small difference. It's nice to take a bit of pride in your own stream and have things set up in a neat way. And you can go ahead and tweak this till your heart's content, or keep it as simple as you want. The choice is yours.